Yeah, I think it really starts from the small stuff. So I guess, as an intern, you're going to be given tasks at the beginning. They're not going to be, like full-blown merger models or whatever. They're going to be like smaller tasks. So making sure you get those small things done right, I think is super important for building a foundation of trust, where you get like more and more, work in the future. So, even if it's something like very simple, like, hey, like I want you to build, this slide and format it this way, or hey, can you like turn these comments, like double and triple checking if it's correct, and asking those questions up front, as Keith and Kaushik mentioned earlier. That's really important because if you can't even do the small things right, then people are going to have difficulty trusting you with the more complicated tasks. So I think it starts from the small stuff.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that from my side. And I would say just you notice as well, just as an intern throughout the summer, as you get staffed on not that much and kind of smaller things, and then you'll know that you're doing something right when you get staffed on more important things and you have more and more work coming at you. So yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, and part of it I think
Great.
comes to the attitude,
So,
right? Like a lot of, oh, sorry. Yeah, I just want to add,
no, go
a
ahead.
lot, like, part of it comes to the attitude. Like if you're given like small tasks, like, don't complain about it. Like everyone starts from, from the small things. Just taking it as like an opportunity to like demonstrate your ability to, to complete tasks and get things done, get things done right. I think is super important. So having that mentality, I think.
Yeah, great. So jumping into the career section quickly, and I know both of you touched on this briefly in your introductions, but why did you choose investment banking as a career, and what kind of drew you to banking, maybe not necessarily sophomore year, junior year, but early on when you kind of started thinking about careers in finance in general?
Yeah, so I would say the path that drew me to investment banking, I think, was very dependent on the internships I did in finance, and then within those internships, like figuring out what I liked and what I wanted more of, and then that led me to my next internship and so on. But speaking from a high level, if you think about it, like in investment banking, as an analyst, you are 22, 23 years old. Probably don't have, you don't have like a business degree or anything. You're just fresh out of college. But you get to sit in the same room as really experienced in the same room as really experienced bankers and really, really talented management teams, leaders of industry, and you are helping them solve the most interesting and complicated problems. Having this type of exposure at such a young age is really something that you don't really get in many other industries, and I think it's a very attractive part about investment banking. So you get to learn a ton about markets, industries, and companies at a very young age, and you get to learn a lot about how management teams think. This is like high level. I think the type of exposure you get that is super super appealing about investment banking. In terms of the specifics, number one, I think it's very interesting to be able to learn about these industries like upfront and center. You are not looking from afar. You are actually part of the play in a way when I'm dealing with these transactions. Number two, I'd say it's on the more like technical side, you build that like fundamental skill set of like evaluation, Excel, financial analysis, modeling, and you learn that pretty quickly on the job. And number three, I think this is me personally, I think is really rewarding when you're helping clients solve their problems. It's super super rewarding to be presented with like an issue, or your client has some goals, and you are the sort of the one that's helping them achieve those goals, and you're adding value. You're adding value to the company, the people who work at the company, but also it may be important for the industry and for the markets overall. So I would say in banking you get this type of exposure that is very difficult to find in other roles at this young of an age.
Yeah, I agree with all those points as well. I'd say personally, I went into IB, as I alluded to before, kind of it combines some skill sets that I had received from previous internships, and kind of the more favorable aspects of those internships, and kind of married them in a way that was very rewarding for me. I think it's important, no matter why you personally want to do investment banking, it's important to have a good reason, both for the interview, but also just in general for yourself. It's important to know why you want to go into this industry. You know, a lot of people enter it for the wrong reasons and they kind of burn out after a couple months. I think it's important to really be interested and passionate about the job and about finance and about what you're doing. I understand some people like to jump ship, go to private equity or hedge funds or whatever, but I think it's important to also, you know, enjoy the work that you're doing while you're doing it and really gain something very, very valuable from it. Because I think if you're going in for the right reasons, if you're going in because you're passionate about finance and, you know, you want to do something different every single day and something that's kind of like complex and analytical and marketing and kind of flex all of your different skill sets on a daily basis, I think that's it's very important to think about. But yeah, so I think for me, it's you know, being on the phone with CEOs and CFOs on a daily basis and talking to management teams is really, really cool, especially as a 23-year-old. That's something that you don't really experience in any other job that I can think of, like Paul was saying. And I think it's also interesting because I get to do something different on a daily basis. So it could be like building out a pitch or a sim or a teaser or diligence or model or whatever. So like there's always something different, and you know, pro tip when you're networking with someone in investment banking, you might not want to ask what they do on a daily basis because it's always different. The answer will, I can guarantee, will always be, you know, it varies every single day. Every day is not the same, which is really cool and it makes it very interesting. But yeah, other than that, I'd echo what Paul said.